Hey everyone, it's Dr. Hillary from Rangeline Chiropractic. Today we're going to chat with Mik Hideg. Hey Mik, how are
Hi,
you doing today?
good. How you doing?
Wonderful. I would love if you could tell us about yourself in Psych K because we do not know enough about this. Tell us
Okay,
about
great.
yourself and your background and kind of your training.
Okay, very good. Well, I grew up in Michigan. Currently, I'm in Fishers, Indiana, but I grew up in Michigan. First generation of immigrants. Parents came from Hungary, um, and in the Detroit area.
Mhm.
Eventually, I went to University of Michigan. Um, my dad was an engineer, and kind of wanted me to be an engineer, and he'd pay for my college. So I said, sure. But I didn't end up getting an engineering degree. And one of the prerequisites for engineering was psychology, so or behavioral science of some sort. I could have taken sociology, but I ended up taking psychology, just a basic class, and really enjoyed it. And eventually got out of engineering and um, went into computers, got out of that, and I said, well, the only thing I took that I enjoyed was psychology, so I ended up getting a psychology degree. Um, was thinking of going into therapy or something of that nature, but having a not the best GPA because of my engineering experience, I couldn't get into grad school, or I was told I couldn't get into grad school, so I just got out basically. I had a lot of science background for the engineering and was in the automotive industry in a testing lab and but eventually I moved to Indianapolis um, and helped start a technology company, and we sold computers and databases and software and things like that. Um, and then eventually, all along, I've been an entertainer. I've been playing piano for since I was 15, keyboards and guitar, and I've been in bands and things like that. I was actually the organist for the Detroit Red Wings for 4 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But so always been an entertainer in front of people, trying to give joy to people.
Okay.
And eventually I end up, and I still have and still do. This is half of me as a children's entertainment company. So we rent out bounce houses. I have this big school bus that I take to preschools to teach PE classes on the bus, and I write kids music and I
Okay.
perform, and my daughter performs with me, and it's a lot of fun. And so my goal in life is just to have fun and bring joy to others. That's what I always wanted to do. And animals, I love animals. I talk to animals. I have relationship with any animal that walks by. I try to do that because I just compelled to. And then I found, actually, I didn't find, and Psych K is this thing I'll tell you about that found
Mhm.
me. I'm just doing some searching on the internet and looking on YouTube videos, and eventually my mom passed away recently, and then I found this Psych K thing, which is it's an energy psychology. It's a mode or a modality of changing your thought process and your beliefs. And I was in a space with the loss of my mom, who I was very close with. Um, not in depression, but felt like I didn't do everything I could have done to help her, even though everyone around me said you went above and beyond what any son could have done. You were the most loving or whatever. But I didn't feel it, and really, I didn't believe it. And the whole thing about Psych K is about limiting beliefs and how that affects people. And when I found Psych K, the videos got really interested. Bruce Lipton, I don't know if ever heard of Dr.
Mhm.
Bruce Lipton,
Mhm.
is very formidable in my decision to move forward. And obviously with Psych K, that was the first video I saw, is Biology of Belief, which is it's on my website too. So if you want to,
Yeah, you
anyone,
have to post your website underneath
yeah,
here later so we
I,
can
I,
see it.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Um, So it really helped me cathartically with my mom's situation. I would always play this one song every Sunday when she was with me. It's called Beautiful Sunday. It's a song from the 70s, a typical 70s song. And when she passed and I would play it, it would make I would have, negative emotions. I'd feel guilty, like I didn't do enough that I could do, which according to everyone else was insane. So after taking actually the basic course, and all along in these courses, these workshops, you're getting what we call balances done as people learn how to do it. You're applying it for your fellow students, and that was the first one I went after. Is that I did everything I could for my mom. Was basically the new belief I wanted to insert, and it was amazing transformation for me because we always have to take an action step to get the ball rolling on the new belief. My action step was play that song. Pretty easy, and I did not have the negative emotions. I just had happiness because all it did was remind me that I did everything I could for her. She did everything she could for me growing up, and it was a beautiful exchange between my mother and I. So that's kind of how the whole thing started for me.
Okay.
In Psych K. So Psych K is a quick, easy, and safe method for people to change themselves and replace negative beliefs or beliefs that are impeding them or what have you. And these beliefs can be things, and often are, that you learn before the age of 7.
Okay.
Because that's when you're basically in theta brainwave, and you're a recorder. That's how you're learning how the whole world works, not just gravity, but also relations and systems and institutions and all these things. And so you're very, very formidable then. But that doesn't mean you're not learning things all along, because subconsciously you learn everything. For instance, you can drive a car, but you're not thinking, okay, now I got to put this amount of pressure on the brake and turn it this a little bit amount to make that curve. It's just all automatic because it's in there. So there's good stuff, but there's also bad things too.
Okay.
And, do you have a question? Or
I was thinking,
yeah.
What are so most people could relate better? What are things that you see that comes up a lot with like negative beliefs from a young age?
Well, a lot of it, and I went through this too, is that because I was very sickly when I was young. So I was overly protected, or maybe it was warranted, for a lot of it, but it stuck. It sticks with you, just like a nickname. And so I always had the feeling that I can't achieve anything. I can't do anything. I don't have what it takes. I should not take a risk. I have brothers and friends saying, "Why are you moving to Indianapolis? It's not a good idea. Just don't take the risk." So sometimes I deviated from it, but oftentimes I feel, based on what I've been told, that I can't do anything because you're the weak one. You're protected. But trauma can also cause things like, car accident, could or death of someone or anything like that. Could
like divorce at that young of age too, right? I would assume that would be a big.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, blended families. Yeah, I worked with a little guy, a little boy. I think he's 8 years old, and I'll tell you, this works really easily. So easy with kids and animals. It's unbelievable how easy it is because they live in the present. That's the main thing. They live in the present, and yeah, I worked with him, and he was having issues with going in between the houses because he's going back and forth between the mommy and the daddy. The mommy has a new boyfriend, the daddy has a new wife. It's very confusing. And he's doing things like, out of defiance, soiling himself.
Mm-hmm.
So and the main reason is, when I did the session with him, is I found out that he wants to be, he wasn't happy coming back home to where his biological dad lives, and that's where he stays mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a session, and balanced for that. Did this balance? I could explain what that is, or not, But we did the process, which is takes less than an hour to do, several things if you wanted to, and and sometimes it takes a while, but an action step for him was to go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, he still occasionally does this soiling thing, but I think that might be just more of a rote thing now, because it's not being weaponized. So he's just not doing it like he had in probably about a month prior. He every 2 weeks he goes back and forth. So that's an example that I have dealt with. That's the only child I ever really worked with.
Okay.
I've actually done more sessions with adults and animals, but I would love to do more children. But and when you're working with kids, by the way, you don't just work with the kids; you're working with the entire family.
Mm-hmm.
And a missing piece, in my opinion, which this particular situation the grown-ups didn't get, is I really need to work with them too,
Mm-hmm.
because by them having me just work with the child, they're making it the child's problem only. They're basically blaming the kid. And he's been to other therapists and this and that, and I'm sure they've had therapy too, but there's got to be belief changing that they need as well, but they just haven't gone there yet. And I can't, that's a decision they have to make.
Yeah. And like, how many sessions do you usually have? I guess we'll go with adults, since you see more adults. How many sessions do you usually have with adults?
Well, it could be one, it could be several. I had this gentleman that had employment issues, meaning he just was not attracting the right kind of job, not being able to stay in the job. He's in technology, as well. Well, not as well, but he's in technology. He's a computer network guy. And I had to have, I think we've had probably 3 or 4 sessions to get to the root cause, which was really simple. I mean, all this is it gets down to something that's simple, and I don't discover it; he discovers it. That's the beauty of Psych K, is I'm not in control. The client, the participant, is in control the whole time, and I'll explain that in a second. But with him, it got down to the fact that he didn't believe he was a whole person. He didn't feel whole. So once we balanced for that, the next opportunity he got for employment, he still has, and that's been over a year and a half. It's bizarre, I mean, I don't understand everything how it works, but it's just really neat thing.
Nice.
For animals, I mean, there was this. So there's this magician guy, okay, and he has a bunny rabbit. He works with this bunny rabbit, and this rabbit named Cleo. The gentleman died. Okay, so he wasn't doing performances anymore. So the rabbit got depressed.
Aw.
And it was molting, and it wasn't eating, and it was just not no activity. So I balanced, found out that the rabbit didn't feel loved, and it wasn't that it didn't feel loved because his magician died, because he wasn't in front of the kids. He didn't feel that the energy and the excitement from the kids.
Okay.
So but it was, so I went and replaced the belief that the bunny had that it wasn't loved, that it was loved. Then apparently it realized that the wife and the daughter that was still there taking care of the rabbit, and they had another rabbit too, like a side rabbit, I don't know, and that it was loved. And then it perked up. It took about 3 weeks, and it perked up. That was one session. It was easy. I do it in surrogation.
Okay.
Which I don't know if that needs to be explained or what have you. But I don't, I don't communicate directly with the rabbit. See, what it is we have three components of consciousness. One is, our consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
our subconscious. How's my fingers going here? And our super conscious. And everyone's heard, use 5% or 10% of your brain. You've heard that stat. What Bruce Lipton ended up finding out is really you use 5 to 10% of your brain is your conscious mind. 90% or 95 is your subconscious mind. And that is where all the beliefs are.
Mm-hmm.
And so you could go to a motivation speaker and get all hyped up, and like, yeah, I'm going to go back and sell $1 million. But then you come back and that's your conscious mind getting all hyped up, but then it dissipates, and it's not a belief. It's just something you got excited about. The conscious mind is creativity, but the subconscious mind is how we actually run. It's computer.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the way things go is we use muscle testing, and I'm sure you're familiar with muscle testing, being a chiropractor. So your body will never, your superconscious will never put you in a position to where you will hurt yourself. So we always ask permission and make sure that this is indeed the right belief to insert into your subconscious, so there's all these stopgap things and safety measures, all along the way when we do a balance.
Okay. We'll definitely make sure that you post some information. I'm sure that you could talk all day on this, Mik.
Yeah, it's tough to cram it in. Let me give you. Can I leave you with something that Gandhi said?
That would be great.
And this is really the whole thing about Psych K. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. So it all starts with your belief, which you don't always come up with that. Sometimes it's put in there because of situation, and your beliefs control how your emotions are and how your body is, because stress can make you sick, and relationships and things like that. So that's it.
Great. Thank you so much for coming on today and giving us I know it's just a quick intro into Psych K, but I'm sure everyone can reach out to you if they have some more questions. Look on your website and your Facebook page. So I appreciate it so much for you jumping on today with me.
Well, thank you, Dr. Hillary. I appreciate the opportunity.